Anyway, hi! How's it going, everybody?
Hi, people.
I'm the Amazing Atheist.
I'm Cody Weber.
This is TJ.
No, I'm Cody Weber.
No, it's just, you're the Amazing Atheist unless I'm in the shot with you. And because I'm an atheist, I became the Amazing Atheist.
Oh, so I'm just an amazing atheist.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just like, you're an adequate atheist.
Adequate atheist. I'm the adequate atheist. That's the amazing atheist. We're here to answer questions from people.
First one, how did you come up with the Straight Effs, the comedy band?
I think the Straight Effs was one of the first things we thought about doing. Because he knew I was a musician well before we became involved with this. And he always wanted to do something with comedy and music together. So when we all moved together in Macomb, I had my acoustic guitar and I had this idea to make this like weird folk album with TJ because he has that guttural voice. And I realized really fucking fast that if I write a riff, he can't do anything with it at all. So it's almost like you have to do reverse songwriting with TJ. Because every song we've written, he's had a melody for it, and he'll just sing the words, and I just have to find shit that works. And if it doesn't work, it's just like, oh, that song just can't happen, TJ.
There was a few times, too, when I wrote lyrics, like in Something, 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 where I wrote lyrics, and you try to write something for it, and then you had this other thing just laying around that just happened to fit.
Yeah, if you notice on that, if anybody's bought the Straight Eff EP or listened to it, it's on YouTube if you want to check it out.
Yeah, we can link to it below.
If you listen to that EP, you'll notice that the last track is really fucking different from the first three. And that's because that last song, he had this like thing, but it's like no matter what I did, it just sounded stupid. I couldn't figure anything out. And then I was working on something, and he was there at the time. I was like, well, what about that? That'll work. Like, really, you want to? And he starts doing it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty fucking good. Let's lay it down right now.
Yeah. So, like, it's kind of just like we had, another thing is like he'd play guitar and sometimes I would just fucking like write, like sing like just like totally silly shit to it. Like almost none of the things that I came up, the only thing I can think of that I came with off the spot that became an actual song was the Fuck the Civilians.
Yeah, that just came straight off the top of his dome.
Yeah. That one was the only one, but usually we have to do the writing process in reverse where I come up with lyrics and then he tries to fucking come up with something to fit them, which is like ass backwards, I guess, in the songwriting world, but I don't know anything about
that. At least the way that I've always written music. I don't know if any musicians are watching this, maybe that's like a normal thing to do, but I've never done it that way.
Hi TJ and Cody. I was just wondering, if you could live in any already created fictitious world, which would you live in?
Fictional universe. I don't know, because it seems like every fictional universe, I mean, like, it kind of depends on who you are, too. I mean, you know, you might want to be like, oh, I'd love to live in, like, the Star Trek universe, but, like, you might be the guy that, like, mops the fucking floor in the Enterprise. I mean, you don't fucking know. I mean, am I just going to be myself in the universe? Because, like, I might think it's like, oh, cool, I want to, like, go to be in the world of, like, Conan the Barbarian, like, swords and sorcery and, like, big tits, but, like, if I'm just going as myself, I'm just going to be like some frumpy fat dude that's like standing next to Conan the Barbarian. And the fucking girls just be like, ooh, you want him or you want Conan? I mean, no fucking, you know, like I get the ugly chicks that fucking Conan doesn't want to fuck. Can I change my attributes? I mean, it wasn't specified, so we don't really know that. But I think if I was going to live in any world, I'd want to live in the world that exists within pornographic movies where like literally every interaction you have with someone is going to have like the opportunity to turn into sex, you know? Like, you're just driving down the road, you see some hot chick, it's like, hey, wanna hop in my van? We're going to a party. And then like, she's like, okay, where's the party? It's in my pants, bitch, you know?
And she just happens to know how to deep throat.
Yeah.
Down to the balls and shit.
Yeah, so, that seems like a pretty cool world.
That would be a pretty cool
And then you're
world.
guaranteed to get
And you
laid
know,
in that world.
That world sounds way cooler than mine, but if I lived in a fictional universe, I think I would have to live in the Sunnyvale trailer park, and that's the Trailer Park Boys. Because everything you said, you know, like, you don't know who you're going to be in the fictional universe, but in Sunnyvale, it doesn't fucking matter, because they're all degenerates. So it doesn't matter what you do, just being there. You could be the scummiest motherfucker alive. If you are, the scummier you are, the better. So it doesn't really matter. And it would just be awesome to hang out with fucking Bubbles and Ricky all day long.
Yeah, you have that, except when they're in jail. And you might be in jail with them.
No, well, they make like Canadian jail sound awesome. I'm sure it's not as cool as they make it seem in the show, but fucking Ricky loves going to jail.
You stated a very long time ago that you were a great fan of Edgar Allan Poe. My question is, assuming you've read his philosophy of composition, to what extent do you think spontaneous inspiration plays a role in writing, if any? And if you haven't read it, then have you ever published anything that is not self-published or, has been in a newspaper or so on and so forth?
I haven't read the Edgar Allan Poe thing, but I think I could still answer that question nonetheless. It's not really so much a matter of like spontaneous inspiration being important to writing, and I'm speaking as someone who's never been anything but self-published, and I've never even shared any of my fiction with my audience, even though I do write fiction. But I can tell you that when I'm writing something, my characters pretty much do what they want. Like, they're pretty much in control. I develop characters and maybe situations, but the way those characters respond to the situations is totally on them. And that kind of is how the story happens. And when I try to control it, they don't care. They just do what they want to do. So I don't know if that says something about me as a writer. It's like I don't have a tight enough leash on my fiction, but...
Or if it says something about your psychology.
Yeah, maybe. Like, there's like these things in my head, they're just like, we're doing what we want, fuck you. They're the same ones who are like, my mind is like, I'm not going to eat donuts today. And I'm just like, haha, yes you are. So maybe it's like the same impulse control problem that gets at the heart of both of those.
And I don't feel like I can answer this because I haven't written anything worth a shit in like 2 years. I've had the worst block ever, so I'm just going to go on to the next one.
Done, on to the next one.
Oh, God.
Oh no, it's 2012 and everyone's dying. How do you want to die?
My dad used to say that his ideal death was he wanted to, like, be blown to death by 2 hot chicks. Like, they're just blowing him in, like, the nursing home and then he dies, like, of a heart attack.
That would be a nice way to go.
But I think if you're gonna die in, like, a 2012-esque disaster, you gotta choose a death that even among, like, the deaths that are happening all around you, because it's 2012 and it's, like, bad apocalyptic shit going down, you have to choose a death that even among those deaths is, like, impressive. Like, I don't know, it depends on if it's, like, are we talking, like, a Mad Max, like, gradual fucking apocalypse, or are we talking, like, one major cataclysmic event? Dan Aykroyd is, like, a 2012 guy, which I don't know. Like, he doesn't think it's gonna be in the world, but he thinks, like, some UFOs are gonna, like, come and, like, chill with us for a minute and be like, yeah, we aliens, bitch, and then they're, like, I don't know, he's crazy. But, you'd figure if he's worried about that, he wouldn't be so concerned with, like, making Ghostbusters 3. Like, yeah, we're gonna get all kinds of enlightenment from the aliens in 2012, but we're also gonna get Ghostbusters 3. It's like, how do you give a shit if you believe that? I don't know. I think it has to be like something like big and painful and like public. Like maybe like you get like struck by lightning while you're on top of like the fucking Empire State Building naked or something. Just like, yeah!
I used to hang out with this kid, and he was obsessed with talking about ways to kill himself. Like he always said, if he was gonna go out, he would go out with a bang and do something crazy. And he came up with a story once that if he were to kill himself, he would go to the top of these rafters in the town that we lived in, probably 11 stories high, and he would attach a bungee cord around his dick and balls, one around, just around the whole little meat and sack area. And attach the other end to the air conditioners and just do it, a couple times. And then he would stand on the top of the ledge and inject himself with fucking heroin and then blow his fucking brains out and fall. And the bungee cord would pull him back up before he hit the cement, and he would just dangle by his nuts forever.
I don't know. I think maybe his nuts would just rip off.
Even if that was the case,
That's
that would be like... For the brief period that the rest of the people around to see that were alive, they would no longer be thinking of the apocalypse. They'd be thinking, did you see that guy get his fucking nuts ripped off?
Yeah, I could see that. He'd have more balls though, and not to, you know. I mean, well, he'd have more gall, I should say, if he didn't bother with the heroin or just blowing his heads off. He just like did that like really romanticized like cruciform plunge.
But you gotta think,
balls.
man. Like if you do that,
I think I'm pretty sure the fall will kill you. I mean, like, because if your balls rip off, then you're gonna slam head first into the concrete and die.
But let's say hypothetically they don't fucking rip off. They just rip everything. Like you're still hanging, but it's just like by a thread, and you're not dead at all. You're just hanging, suspended in air, just fucking by your nutsack.
I know, but it would be memorable.
It would be memorable, but if I'm going out like that, my fucking shotgun's going in my goddamn mouth first.
No, because it's just, you don't fucking experience the fun of the plunge and the fucking... I don't know.
I don't want to experience the feeling, the sensation of my nuts getting ripped.
Well,
from
if
my
you're
body.
gonna die, you gotta do it you can't be like a pussy. That's like your last thing you're gonna do. So you can't just be like, oh, I don't want it to hurt. I mean, that's like pussying out. It should be like extremely painful. Just be like everything about you just fucking diminished.
Well, you know, that's easy to say when you're not the motherfucker with a bungee cord around his dick. Let's put one around your cock and be like, all right, it's the last thing I'm gonna do, so I don't want to be a fucking pussy.
Damn right, I'll do it.
Let's go.
Damn right. Go eat the bungee cord.
Hey fellas, I tried to come up with a clever question to ask, but all I could come up with is a somewhat banal one, but an interesting one at least. What was the most enjoyable concert either of you have ever been to?
I've seen Manson probably 5 or 6 times, but I think the best time I saw him was in 2003 because it was the Voodoo Music Experience, which I do every year in New Orleans, and before Manson they had Iggy Pop, and I'm not really familiar with Iggy Pop's work. I wasn't at the time, I'm really still not very much, but like the stage presence of that guy was fucking enormous, and then the stage presence of Manson was enormous, and it was almost like you were watching version 1.0 and then version 2.0 of like the same guy. Because Iggy Pop was like a stripped down Manson, and Manson was like a built up Iggy Pop to me. It was such a theatrical concert that Manson put on. There was like so many fucking strange things going on stage. There were these girls with like prosthetic body parts and just like their faces painted to look like as if half of them were torn off, and then there was these like swastikas made of like girls' legs and shit, and there was this giant inflatable like Mickey Mouse Manson head, and there was a lot of crowd banter and stuff, and Manson was talking about how New Orleans is like the city that made him get addicted to drugs, which if you read The Long Hard Road Out of Hell is kind of true. During the recording of Antichrist Superstar with like Trent Reznor and shit. And it was loud, and there was like such energy going around there, and everyone was fucking excited, and there was fucking naked girls, and fucking like drugs everywhere, and people were fucking moshing, and it was just really exciting and fun. Manson did at one point say, I love you like I'd fuck my mother, motherfuckers. So
I have to answer this question in 2 parts. The first one I will say was 9 Inch Nails on the With Teeth tour in, I want to say 2005, maybe 2006, early 2006-ish. I say that because the stage show was the craziest, most elaborate thing I'd seen in my life. They had huge LCD screens that would just come down from the fucking ceiling, and they would project these crazy silent movies over the top of the band performing, and it just all meshed together, very crazy. And just like the Manson show, there was a ton of fucking drugs going around, a ton of moshing, and it just felt like... Do you ever feel at concerts like that you could very possibly die? Like you could very easily get knocked out.
I nearly died at the fucking Slayer concert I was at. It was like Manson toured with Slayer for some ungodly fucking reason.
Did you get caught in a pit?
And yeah, I fell down in the fucking Slayer pit.
Oh god.
And but I'm so big, I took down like 8 or 9 people. Like it was like a domino thing. So we all got helped up because there was like a huge section. If it had just been me, I'd have just been like trampled. No. I got out of the pad like I ain't dying for fucking Slayer. I'll die for
the last thing you want to die by is rain in blood.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there. I nearly died actually again at that concert because I fucking I don't remember the fucking lead singer of Slayer's name. Do you know his name?
No.
I don't either. But anyway, I fucking threw a bottle at him because I was so pissed at Slayer for nearly killing me earlier, and then I almost got killed by the Slayer fans.
Oh
So.
God. However, the Nine Inch Nails, the actual band, I didn't think sounded as good as they probably did on a lot of dates on the tour. The best performance that I've ever seen was a small act called Renee. I saw them play at a place called The Black Sheep in Springfield, Illinois. And it's the only time that I've ever went to a concert, and when I was screaming along to the lyrics and everyone else was too, it was like there wasn't any fucking bitterness and fighting and shit. It was just like, it's the only concert I've ever been to where it seemed like everyone involved was really into what was fucking going on. And I've never had that experience since then. If you're ever in Springfield, go to that fucking place.
You know, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this because this is like a band that people seem to like really love to hate. But the fucking Green Day concert I went to was probably one of the most amazing fucking concert experiences I've ever had. Simply because the energy there was fucking insane.
Oh, I bet.
Like, I mean, I don't know what it was. There was something in the fucking air during that fucking show because it was just like fucking like. There was like a fucking sensation of like electricity running through everything. Like you hear about that in like people talking like, you know, documentaries like there was electricity in the air. And I was like, yeah, but there really was. There was like this sense of like everyone was just so fucking amped up, and it was like even like a big fat motherfucker like me, I was like, yeah. And the thing was like I went to that show not fucking liking Green Day. I'd never liked that band, and now that show converted me, and I'm like, I like this band now. And that was like the very time when everyone turned on them and just like, fuck Green Day. It's like, motherfucker, this is the band you were trying to get me to listen to like a year ago. They're like, yeah, they used to be good. It's like,
Hello, TJ and Cody. This is my question. What is your least favorite kind of people?
You know, it really says something about how people perceive the two of us when we do these things, because every time it's never, hey, what's your favorite food, buddy? What's your favorite soft drink? Do you like any musicals right now? Like any plays, anything? It's always, what do you fucking hate? What celebrity do you hate the most right now? Is there any children you'd like to kick in the face? Least favorite people.
it's a tough one.
It is a tough one because
Not because it's hard, of course. Not because it's hard to figure out who you hate.
yeah,
but
it's
just
just
like
who do you hate the most?
like
And plus, you gotta take this into consideration. This might seem weird to you, but I can't speak for him. But at least for me, I don't really go out of my way to think about what things I hate the most. You know, like sometimes it's fun to think about what you like the most, but like the depths of hatred are so much deeper. It's so hard. It's like you fall and then you look around. It's like, okay, I've hit the bottom, and then suddenly you see Nickelback performing. Like, no, and you fall even fucking further down the hate train.
I feel like I take daily dips in the pool of hate. Like almost like Elizabeth Bathory bathing herself in the blood of young virgins to maintain her youthful appearance. I have to bathe myself in the blood of human stupidity to maintain my constant rage boner.
Like sometimes TJ wakes up and he looks around and he's like, man, I kind of like today. The world looks good. Like, oh shit, fuck, where's YouTube? Idiot, where's he at? Okay.
I'm laughing because it's true. But the group of people I hate the most, and I don't hate everybody. I mean, hate would lose its value if I just I just hate everyone blanket. You know?
I have a calm indifference toward most things.
Yeah, like to most people, to me, I could take him or leave him. Like I don't give a fuck. He's not bothering me. I'm not bothering him.
Do what you fucking want.
But I think the people that I hate most are the people who are, and maybe I'm considered. Maybe a lot of people will think I'm describing myself here because they'll be like, yeah, you fucking, that's you. But it's people who have a strong opinion about something, but also lack any and all self-awareness. Like people who just don't fucking recognize. Like I'm talking about people like Ted Haggard who fucking like, the fag's gonna burn in hell. And then the next, then that night he's like, yeah, in the butt. Do some of this meth and then fuck my butt. It's like I'm talking about like hypocrites here. Not people who are just not necessarily like I don't want to use the word hypocrite necessarily because it implies this direct, like, I said one thing and did something completely different, but it's a lot of people that are not true to themselves. Like, there's a good example, I think, are these people who run around, like, every time you read a story about something horrible that was done, like some woman, like, she stabbed her fucking child to death or something. There's always someone, if it's on a site that has a comment section, there's always be someone who comes up with something that's like far more brutal and sadistic than the person actually did, and describe that as how that person should be punished. Like, we should fucking chop her arms and legs off and cut her tongue out and fucking rip out her eyes and leave her in a box and just fucking feed her through a tube and she can just sit there and wallow in her fucking misery until the day she dies and try to keep her alive as long as possible to suffer eternally. You know, and it's like, you're more fucked up than her, don't you realize? You know, you're embracing the very evil that you condemn, and then you expect me to take you seriously, and then, of course, because a lot of people are like that, they get a lot of reinforcement, and you know, I don't like it.